On every corner, we are delivering victories in the Russian sphere. After the cat was related to you, they will go to do something for themselves, but the push is not. Today, this is a sticker of the state, faces. And so we are kind of there, but it has long been, we say, to go out. Today, this is, we extend. We didn't do it. Gadan didn't lead, especially by profession, created a new Santa. We come and today we see that creating a sort costs money, but it's calculable. How is one to advance? It costs even more. Today, there are a bunch of problems in advancement. I won't say how it is in Russia. We see this advancement that the state wants, go to everyone, let's export. These are really big money. Today, attracting money from outside and turning it inside. Because subtitles were made by Dimatorzok. Firstly, they fell apart on state registration. Specific requirements and conditions in Asia, indeed, in Asia, in India. The conditions are all different from each other accordingly. We don't work, we only do assembly and investments, big, whether bad or good. If my success was with people, yes, they are the country. To shoot new ones for me. Video. It was more of a personal point, more of a circle of father, but everyone is weak from there, or a filly. Ladies who come out on the Filades Mutnim group through some connected hands. And you see only the circle is a potato. All principle. Knowing each other, yes, he is a little.
It turned out, we know, for example, you as a signal, as we know them. Yes, we talked with Sergei Stankovich Kizlyakov. Yes, he knows that he represents the grandmother, not the uncle, grandmother.
No, it's not. As if you understand. Not everyone knows everything and they can't manage to have the same with everyone.
My task, somehow in Filmatur, is to try, to torment at least, to identify each other in front of you. And of course, I would like for our conversation today to be there. I will, for you to listen, looking at the picture on. Interesting. Now on the street, who should you approach? For you personally, as a businessman and a person, you know that at some point it didn't catch on. An assistant facilitated the communication. For you, dealing with businessmen is very important.
I will appear on the page of some dark magazine. Yes, I am basically proud that I would have captured a good photograph. This is not trained, no. It turned out. Therefore, it won't reach perfection, but on the other hand, it lacks what changes the film. Young people come. Someone enters this business, someone is persistent. It's very interesting for someone to vary contacts in their field, there with one or two acquaintances and close family.
All right, if we talk about a startup, a company for InfoHero groups, the question is, what is it personally for you? Today, the company represents what it is.
But probably it's an association for solving some such tasks like potatoes, water. On one hand, representatives like with us personally, it's not all this dispute as if a mass where it appeared when we have our own, which each of them could not be on their own, and to the market, but also in Russia. In general, the main task of any potato grower. In those years, actions in Latvia exist even now. This is our plan. I will now produce a large harvest and then I will try to sell it. And this process was led within the Samara region, firstly as Akimar, and a little earlier as the Capo Fair Water Union. That is, we communicate with all the Capo Fair water regions and try to be continued. Another motto was at the time of creating the potato plate in Arsenal. Here are two plates translated from Arsenal. So they were pushing here what it was, pushing there, let's say, with our neighbors, and inside it could be as consolidated as possible. They would have the opportunity to make a better product, and it was banned with it. Today, in fact, we have probably consolidated in the region. So, and here, companies have just consolidated on the best experiences that my employees have. And today they chose part of the free parts. Research hunters, they took licenses, planters with licensees, and gave our profiles the opportunity to gain maximum benefit. Knowing the conditions of the doctor, for example, at one farm, which will have a foreman today, it means there are such problems with blackening, with fish, with other factors, with injuries, among others, and we offer the assortment that will be most suitable for them. Although this does not mean that the experiment is rejected. This year, for example, we are introducing another variety, whether it will be successful for us or not, or in a year we will remove it accordingly. This is precisely the opportunity for the farm to work as efficiently as possible with the sugar group. And what we guarantee in this partnership is complete testing. That is, if this potato cannot be sold here in the Moscow region, it could be idle. Or in the north, or the entire European part. That is, we know that any amount of potatoes, since any variety is in demand, well, precisely in this direction. We are working with the market, allowing these volumes not to accumulate in specific warehouses.
Sales. Vladimir livestock. Sales. Today, if, like most people, I think personally that even the pool has a plan for the next 5, 8, 10 years. If you remember, someone can tell.
Well, there's such a question on the internet. A girl asked, "What do you want if you weren't born with money?" So 9 out of 10 talk about the day when men are asked what they want in life, health, happiness, meaning all of this is non-material. But in combination, if we talk about business, what we like, I am very glad that we are dealing with such a challenging matter. The first issue of Potato Difficult is quite challenging, a matter when recently there was a conversation about corn, and so let's say they there, Botiva, can create a new variety, and then accordingly they register it for 3 to 4 years. Because corn and any other grain crop, I don't know, have 8, 10, or for example, a maximum of 10 traits, while the portfolio has more than 40 or even more than 50 traits, including some market factors, external factors, storage, and so on. A more limiting crop, meaning a very complex business. And we understand that it's not for everyone to get into this business, although you can calculate a good economy with a calculator. That's where my enjoyment should be based on the foundation. Today we are strengthening our knowledge, improving silently, and we like that we see the results of our work, that if we talk about today's policy, it's the best, then we achieve it. We have been striving for a long time, primarily thanks to people, because a company is always surrounded by a certain number of people, smart, dedicated, knowledgeable in their field, loving what they do, Accordingly, if they didn't love potatoes, that is, each of them has tried potatoes, each of them knows how to produce these potatoes, and most importantly, he must believe that the variety he will sell, he knows that this potato can yield a good large harvest in some cases. And this combination of all these factors, including money, yes, allows us to move forward. We don't have any imperial ambitions. We move forward, understanding that the market that has allowed us today to provide the current situation gives the opportunity to develop now further, and relying on European experience, relying on other countries, we understand that with small volumes, it is impossible to achieve anything. We bring a certain volume of goods that we trade, seed potatoes, which allows us to set aside money for development, to set aside money for science. And if today we have taken on the process of selection, the development of new varieties, then it seems the company is usually proud of how much they invest in science, development, and selection. That is what is needed. Capital. Selling, for example, 1,000 tons of potatoes is unlikely to provide enough money for creating new potato varieties. Selling, for example, 10,000 tons, again, probably won't be enough money. So we see that an average European company should sell 30,000 tons of potatoes. This is probably the benchmark. Well, in my view today, in Mania, yes, in the West it might be different, which will allow having the funds to invest in selection. Thanks to the state program, this process has become a bit simplified because support was provided with state funds for the initial push in selection. Today it's somewhat a bit stalled, but the push was quite good. I hope that thanks to the new varieties that have appeared, we will be able to earn funds but to continue. Because we initially got into this not to recoup some state subsidies or grants, but to ensure it continues and thrives. After the money runs out, we want to increase the quantity, earn a little money so that we can also create new varieties. Because if there isn't enough money, you won't have the chance to make mistakes. They will play against you, so it won't work out. This doesn't mean that any of the varieties will be a wonderful success. Simply put, when we enter the market, it might not be needed by anyone. This is the kind of mistake, like in any business, when someone makes a dress, let's say memory creates some types of machines, some kind of until...
Vladimir, we are already talking about the future here. Yes, I visit many enterprises, communicate with owners, and it so happens that we already have a second or third generation of smart owners working alongside them. I know that your son Ilya works with you, and I have a standard question that I ask owners: what trait of character does Ilya have that is not typical of you, but you would gladly adopt?
Saving all the calculations, probably I am a man of action. That is, I first get into a fight, then see if I can win or not. Maybe it was my upbringing or perhaps my genotype. I am the kind of person who runs first, then thinks. He thinks first, then runs. That is... It will never be that another person is as Popov-like as you. And when they talk, they say, well, it's not you, sort of, right? And his grandfather says to him, listen, it's not your veins. I say the veins might be mine. Who else copies the way I did, right? Or the way I made mistakes? Here are my own mistakes.